Do you have an update on DJ?
Yeah, still gathering more information.
Do you expect him to play Thursday, or is it still too
I'm
early?
not going to say anything until we sort all that out.
What about Joe Mixon and his ankle?
He'll be good. Yeah.
Did T get put in the concussion protocol again, or no?
They just did his check. No protocol. He was good. He responded well once he popped up. So they just did the check that they usually do, take him back to the 10, and then he was cleared a couple plays later.
Is that a hit you would submit to the league, or you just kind of let them handle that?
It was flagged, so typically they'll take a look at that. That's not something we'll have to flag.
T has been through. I mean, he's had a couple of huge hits. Everything he's been going through. What's it been like watching him play well?
Yeah.
He's been just really kind of put through the ringer the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean he's a tough guy. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now. He's going up and making some big plays for us, and he's tough. And so unfortunately, he's had to take a couple of these hits that are nothing he can do different. He's going up to get a ball, and in the week one, he gets hit as he's going down. So nothing he can do to change his style of play. But he's a tough guy.
Zach, are there some things in the running game that Joe Mixon is missing, or maybe can do better to help it out, or is it just the whole operation?
I think the whole operation, if you just look at the scope of any inefficient run we've had, you can point to a different area on each play. And so again, as we just continue to get into the groove of the season, I feel confident about the direction we'll head. It's like I say in here many times, it's in the fourth quarter when you get a lead is when you chance to. So many times I've presented to our guys, what the run game is going to look like over the course of the game against an opponent more last season, and so many times you say, hey, through 3 quarters they got 60 yards rushing, and then they finish the game with 115 or 120 yards, and they come in big chunks there in the fourth quarter. And so this was our first opportunity to get that, and we got some yards there in that last drive, and we're hopeful to do more of that in the future.
What's challenging for facing a Miami team that's playing as well as they are on a short week?
They're a good team. They got good talent. They got good coaches. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now that they've won 3 games in a row. Coming off a big win against a really good Buffalo team. Really, they've beaten 3 really good opponents. If you look at New England, Baltimore, and Buffalo, 3 teams with a lot of talent, good coaches. So they're doing a lot of good things right now in all 3 phases. And I know that our guys are really excited for the challenge.
What is Tyreek maybe bring to that offense that maybe it didn't have, or how does Tyreek maybe affect that offense and the way it operates this year?
He's fast. He's a confident player. He's very fast. So they've got a lot of speed on that offense side of the ball. Jalen Waddle's a fast player. They got really good they got really good talent, on both sides of the ball. And so that's a challenge. I think our guys are up for it. They're excited for the opportunity.
How much does Lyle Collins mean to the team when he's playing, good like he did yesterday, and when he's healthy and when he's out there on the field for you?
Yeah, I mean he's a really good player in this league. He helps our protections. He's really physical in the run game. Tough to get around. He's got the right mentality as well, and so our guys respond well to him getting out there.
Has your process changed on this short week, and what have you learned from having gone through it before? Have you tweaked anything from year over year? Or?
We have, we do just a little bit of full speed work just to get our guys kind of loosened up tomorrow. It's not much at all. Just get their blood flowing a little bit. We didn't do that the first year against Cleveland. We didn't have a first year game the second year against Cleveland on a Thursday night. That was kind of one of the things I looked back on and thought we need to move around a little bit more than we did. But you just got to jam the preparation into the week. Our assistants have done that, starting really since Friday. I haven't. I start today. But I think our guys have done a good job with the prep work. And then you just really got to jam it into Monday. Today we're doing 3 days of work, really, getting that plan done. And then tomorrow you start focusing more on the red zone. And then Wednesday you clean it all up, and Thursday you go play. So we've all been through it before. We know how to handle the week, and it's nice doing it at home. You can eliminate the travel part of that. That's a big deal as well, and gets to play in front of your home crowd. I think is really good for us.
Was that hard the first time you did it? Kind of going through that short week first time was a particularly challenging?
Well, I mean, it's your first time as a head coach, but you've done it many times before as an assistant coach. So the week doesn't surprise you or overwhelm you. You've been there and done that. So I wouldn't say that there's anything that's surprising.
How much more of an advantage is it to be the home team on that short week?
I'm trying to think back what my record is. I have no idea what my record is. It's gone any which way. You got to have your team prepared. whether you're getting on a plane or they're driving back to their houses, on Wednesday. Either way, your team's got to be prepared and in the right state of frame of mind, and come out with a lot of energy on Thursday. In a short week, there's always nicks and bruises guys are going to have that they're fighting through, and so you try to help them as much as you can during the week to be fresh as possible on Thursday, knowing that they're going to get a couple extra days on the back end of that. So you're mindful of trying to help your guys get to Thursday and then get them that extra couple days rest.
Is that like establishing a sense of urgency throughout the week of practice going into Sunday's game was a big point of emphasis for you? I mean, why was that the case, and kind of why? How do you feel like it manifested itself on Sunday with the prep work that you
For last week, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah, I thought our guys came out and started fast. It was the first time we started with the ball. It was clean. It was a clean drive. We had the one penalty down there in the low red zone. That was the only disappointing part of the drive. Really, I thought the guys overcame some good. I'm sorry, we had a delay game too that put us in a third and 9, I think, where we hit T on the back shoulder. So the guys responded well. They played with a lot of confidence. Really had a lot of efficient plays early on, and responded with trying to put the ball in the end zone as many times as they could. And so I thought that it was a resilient drive by them. And then I thought the defense did a really nice job over the course of the game. They really gave up 2 field goals. Offense spotted them 2 more field goals, just the field position we ended up giving them. So I thought the defense really had a good performance.
But it sounded like that was throughout the week going into Sunday. It sounded like that was a big point of emphasis. How good was it to kind of see the way y'all started, given how much it was emphasized throughout the week?
Yeah, it's it's just little things during practice. It's nothing overly significant. It gets talked about a lot. You want the guys to have some confidence and talk about it a little bit more. But again, I've got so much confidence in our group that, again, I always say small sample size, 2 games in the season. I thought the guys responded really well on Sunday.
What kind of a boost is it for everybody on Tyler Boyd's 56-yard touchdown? You went max protection, expecting a blitz. They did it. You executed it. It was just as you had planned or had anticipated. How much of a lift does that give everybody?
It's big. I thought the line did a really good job on that play. Back did a great job stepping up. Hayden was scanning across for the last guy. Joe did a great job just sitting calm in the eye of the storm, and TB got the separation he needed and was able to finish off that play after contact, which is big. And Jamar's even trying to get in the picture, to catch up and try to help him block downfield. But that was a big spark. Anytime you can score on 3rd down, because you know in that moment a lot of things can happen. You want to convert and get a new set of downs. If you don't, then obviously there's a momentum change there with the other team. So then to get the best element that could have possibly happened and go score a touchdown is a major boost at that point in the game for us. I think that put us up 14-6, if I'm not mistaken. And so that was a big deal for us, there in the first quarter to get a lot of points up on the board, and our defense responded the right way.
First touchdown was 3rd and 12. That was 3rd and 7. To score touchdowns on 3rd down conversions kind of deflates the defense, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah, when our defense does a really good job on 3rd down, but when you do give up those big chunks, you got to regroup, and oftentimes you're subbing new personnel in the game because those guys have been out there for a couple snaps, and so it is a big momentum shift, on a 3rd and 7+ conversion.
How would you evaluate the short yardage situations and play calling at the 4th down, to toss to chase? When you guys kind of struggling sometimes to run the ball, do you kind of overthink things, looking for ways to kind of shake it up, or how would you kind of evaluate those play calls?
You're talking about short yardage in general for us this year? Has it been that bad? I didn't think it's been that bad. It wasn't a good play call on 4th and 1. It's a schemed up thought, and led by me, and we did.
You hadn't run the ball. You tried a couple different things instead of just running. Running up in the middle.
You caught me there because I'm trying to think of all the short yardage runs. I know we've gotten a sneak on one. We got the big run against Pittsburgh. This one, we tried to get the ball on the perimeter. They basically gave us anything inside. Any other play call would have maybe worked, other than the one that I called. So yes, there's you could start with, in hindsight, do you kick the field goal and go up 30-9? Okay, that's the starting point. B, don't call a perimeter play. You're basing it off the tape. The tape had shown that you need to get the ball on the edge against these guys. Jam fronts, real tight on the edges. We had a play that we really liked. Turned out it was the wrong play call at the wrong time, and they played it really well and did a nice job. And yeah, if I could go back, I wouldn't overthink it and just have a simpler play call.
I know you wish that you connected on the Mixon trick play, but at what point did you realize when you got here that he could kind of be like your trick play guy? Going back to the Super Bowl, and you used him a couple different times in these unique ways. Like, when did you first learn that about Mixon?
That's a good question. I don't know. Those guys always brag about who can throw and who can't. I think all of our receivers have pretty good arms. Joe's got I don't know at what point I realized Joe could throw. I can't even really think of how many times we carried stuff with him early in my career here. So I don't have a great answer for you there, but he can throw. He's got the confidence. TB's got the confidence. All those I've seen, those receivers stay after practice sometimes and training camp and have those long ball competitions. So they
Is
can all
that
throw.
one that you installed during the week, or is that more like of a training camp, OTA?
That one was no. That one we have not carried for very long.
Did the success that P. Ryan showed at the end of the game yesterday maybe make you want to reconsider maybe the snap share between those guys and how much maybe P. Ryan's using the run game in first and second downs?
No, I think we're comfortable with everybody's roles, and it's good to have two backs that can do it if necessary. And Chris Evans played his role on third down. He did a nice job on the catch. It was a contested catch. It was not an easy look. It was a great throw. It was a heck of a catch. That led to that 4th and inches. There wasn't much more he could do there. So I think all three of those guys have played the roles really well, and Samaje steps in where needed. And if it needs to be 4 minutes at the end of the game, close it out. It's great. He did that against Baltimore last year. Joe had a good touchdown, and then as we had a more significant lead, we put Samaje in there, and he had a touchdown too. So, I think we got a good stable of backs that we believe in.
On Thursday night games are the super short week. Does it impact how complicated defenses can be?
There's a lot of ways that can be. They can carry over their plan from the previous week. If you've played a team before, that plan that maybe you didn't utilize a lot can come up. I guess it depends on the coach, depends on the team, depends on the injury situation, depends on how similar the two offenses they faced maybe from the week before to week now. So there's a lot of different directions that thing can go.
A couple guys in the room talked about last year's Thursday night being really memorable with the atmosphere. Do you recall it feeling any different last year, Thursday night game?
Well, it does. When you walk out and it's nighttime as opposed to daytime, it does feel different. It almost feels like a totally different environment. I thought our crowd was really loud. That's what I remember. And we didn't give much to cheer about in the first half offensively. Our defense hung in there tough and got that big stop before halftime, very similar to that Kansas City game on the road, to give us some momentum going into halftime. And then the offense came out and scored a touchdown on the first drive against Jacksonville in the second half. And I remember the crowd really kind of coming to life and pushing us over the edge there once we got that first score in the second half. So it was a great crowd, very loud, causes a lot of problems for the other team. That's going to be critical in this game. Miami's had an opportunity to play 2 home games so far, and you can see the issues it's caused for the other teams because it's obviously been pretty loud based on the tape I'm watching in terms of guys getting off on blitzes and things like that. So we need our defense to be able to capitalize on that, with the noise, the offense having a hard time communicating, guys having to look in at the snap, guys can get an advantage on defense. So I look forward to that advantage on Thursday.
Does this feel like a big game to you guys, undefeated team, prime time, and you guys now finally have that first win, creates momentum here?
They've all felt like big games to me. We know that they're a very quality opponent. We know that they're on a hot streak right now. So with that comes a lot of confidence on their end. Our guys are confident as well. Whether we'd won 1 or 3, I think our guys just naturally do the work, and so they have got that earned confidence. And they're ready for the spotlight. They're ready for a great opportunity for a night game at home against a really good opponent that's going to pose some challenges. But again, our guys are built for games like this. This is where they rise up, and I know that they're ready for this one.
At this point last week, you said you were talking with the coaching staff about everything being creative and open-minded and flexible, trying to find what would work best for the offense. Do you feel like you uncovered something or came up with some good solutions over the last week?
We scored a little sooner than we had touchdown-wise, which just allows us to stay on schedule. That's the whole thing, So many times I've gone back and watched that Dallas game. We just were not on schedule at all in the first half. You didn't call anything you were hoping to get off the call sheet. And so I just thought overall as a team, we played better complementary football yesterday that allowed all the phases to execute the plan that we thought would work best against the Jets, and that's a position we got to continue to put ourselves in.
What do you feel like was the most positive takeaway from the way the offense played? I guess except for the slow start. Like what was working really well?
In this game?
Yeah, last week or yesterday.
I thought early on we were efficient on early downs. That was a key. We weren't putting ourselves in many second get back on track situations. And so when you're doing that, keep pushing the ball forward, then we feel really good about utilizing our weapons, against the types of coverages that are easier to be aggressive against. And so I thought our guys did a really good job managing that. I thought the protection was outstanding, particularly in the first half. The sack came on a 3rd and 10, backed up. I should have just gotten us out of the half, really not put us in that position. That's where the sack came up. But I thought aside from that, the protection was really good.
What makes Tua as good as he is at running RPOs, and what kind of challenge is that going to be for your defense out there?
He anticipates really well, whether you're calling it an RPO or a play action. It doesn't really matter what they call it. He does a good job anticipating windows. So you might freeze the tape, and the receiver has not even cleared the backer or the safety, and the ball's already out to the spot that he anticipates the receiver being there. They got really good speed, so there's a great opportunity to utilize that for them because he can throw those voids and know that guys are going to show up. So I think that's something he excelled at Alabama for certain. He plays fast. He again, like I said, he anticipates and throws the spots and just does a really good job that way, trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Please read with the tight ends with Drew out and Hayden hurt kind of late in the week. Used those backups a lot in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did. They all played a role for us. I thought they all did a really nice job for us. Hayden, Mitch, and Devin. So to see those guys just as a unit get in there, James has done a really good job getting those guys ready for anything because we had 11, we had 12, we had 13, we had big 13 with Keem in there. So guys always had to know what position they were playing on what play. I think that's part of playing tight end that probably people don't comprehend is, they got am I the F on this play? Am I the Y on this play? Am I the Z on this play? Based on who else is in the game or what play sometimes we're calling. And so there's a lot they got to manage in terms of the run game, the passes, and the protection that they got to be locked in on in those 3 phases. That's a lot to take on. And so I think James Casey does a really good job getting those guys prepared and so they can go play with confidence despite whoever's playing. And we used 3 guys, and I thought they all did a nice job for us.
Going back to Tua, when you guys were going through the quarterback evaluation process for that draft class, how did you start it? Did you just look at Burrow, Herbert, and Tua, and then keyed in on Burrow being kind of your guy? Like, what did you think of Tua coming out, and how did you guys kind of hone in on Burrow? Was it just the Senior Bowl? Because that's going to be the talk, that draft class with
Sure.
Tua and Burrow. So just your perspective on that.
Yeah, we watched all the games and all those guys, and again, we didn't need to rush into a decision. We had till April, whatever it was. Really liked watching Tua. He was a winner, played with a lot of confidence. Just thought that he would really do a good job operating an offense in the NFL, and was clear that he should be in the first round conversation at the top of the draft conference. That was all very clear. For us, we just saw something in Joe that we believed in, that he needed to be the number 1 pick. He was the right fit for us, and never waited from that, from the day we decided that until now. And that was the direction we went, but certainly saw that there were some other quarterbacks in the draft that were going to be really successful for other teams, just not for us.
Do you sense any difference in Joe for games like this? Not just against like a guy like Tua in his draft class, but a primetime game where all the national spotlight's on it. Do you sense any difference in the way that he goes about it, or he just routines he might hear?
No, I think that's what's great about Joe is it doesn't matter if you were getting him ready for a preseason game or the Super Bowl. He's got his process he follows that he believes in to get him prepared for kickoff. I can confidently say I doubt that he cares who the other quarterback is on the other team. He's certainly more focused on the defense. But again, that's part of his process that makes him great. Is he always follows the same routine to get himself ready.
Mike McDaniel has the reputation of being really bright offensively.
Yeah.
Is that a guy that, like, over the years, whether he was in San Francisco, Atlanta, Cleveland, whatever, that you were hearing, this assistant coach is really?
Or in my GA office at Texas A&M when he'd come visit. So I've known Mike for a long time. He's always been extremely bright. one of the really good guys in the profession. I think that everybody's been around him really likes Mike, and he's doing a really good job. I'm happy that he got this opportunity. He's taken full advantage of it. I think everybody that knows him knows how smart he is. I haven't coached with him. I haven't been around him in that environment, but just my conversations with him since 2008. I always knew that he was really intelligent and was going to have success. And obviously all the guys that have worked with him think that because Kyle's taken him everywhere, and he's been a big part of what they've done in Cleveland and Atlanta and going back to Houston and San Francisco. And so, really, really bright guy who's getting his opportunity to make the most of it.
What was he doing when he used to visit you at A&M?
I think he was in the UFL at the time, and had worked with the guy I'd worked with, and would stop by in the office and hang out. And we literally had a closet. It was about the size of this. I think it was about as narrow as this table, as wide as the table, and as narrow as the table. It was a closet that it was me and a guy named Tim Bender, and then Tim left, and we hired Clint Kubiak and Ben Martin, and Mike crossed over with, I think, Tim Bender, so he would come visit and hang out for a couple days.
Where did you take guys, coaches out in College Station? What was the coach's spot you did take folks to?
Fuego, right on the corner of George Bush or something, University, Texas Avenue, whatever it was. They were all the same streets. Probably that was the number one spot.
How often do you look
What's the
back?
trailer? Hullabaloo. Hullabaloo, the pancake place. Hullabaloo, that trailer. I'd go there a lot too.
How often do you look back at 38-35 in Miami and just think, what if that game goes different and maybe Joe Burrow's not here?
Not much. That game, we were just trying to win at any. I know what the narrative is, but we were just trying to win. It was just, we worked so hard every week, and it was just, losing's not fun. And so we did everything we could to claw ourselves back in that game. I think it was 35-12 at one point late in the game. And about every situation we needed to ace, we aced to get us back in. We still use a lot of those clips on TV, catching the ball and triple in and being injured and having to be helped up by Eifert so we can clock the ball and TB can get out, and we didn't lose 10 seconds. And then we hit Eifert on vertigo, 5 verticals, and then we had a 2-point conversion to tie it, I think. And so that game comes up a lot, not because it was the Miami Dolphins, just because of the situations that have come up. So we've probably seen that game from 2019 as much as any game from that year. And, fortunately didn't win it.
Taking the ball to start the game at the coin toss, is that a one-off yesterday, or might that be something you do more?
Trust me when I tell you, we talk about that every week, and we talk about, as part of our meeting, it's on Doug's agenda of things we're going to talk about on Saturday morning, coin toss, and it's right after inactives. And we talk through it every week, and so we'll get to Wednesday and talk through what the best decision is for a team against the Dolphins.
Do people ever ask you, why you guys tried so hard? Because obviously everybody knew what the stakes were for that game. Does that ever come up and say, because you guys obviously tried like hell to win that game.
Yeah.
Does people ever ask you about how that one night went, how that game went, given what the stakes were?
To me, that's like the stakes. There's no guarantee in this profession you're going to be here the next year. And so to say that we're not going to do everything we can to win a game is frustrating, to be quite honest with you, because you don't know what it's like being in these offices when you're not winning. And so you're doing everything you possibly can to get it. So then you're down 35-12, and you're thinking about, what am I going to say to the team if this doesn't work out well, because we're getting blown out right now. And then for the team to keep fighting and claw back, and all the coaches have put in all the work to help with the scheme, to get yourself back in that position, you're going to go win the game. You have to win the game. So thankfully no one's asked me that, because I get frustrated like I am now, because it's we just work so hard and nothing's ever guaranteed. And I think it's disrespectful of the game to not do everything you can to try to win, and your fans and I get it. The fans probably want us to lose so we get better. I understand that, but from the coaching side of it, that's never for 1 second the thought.
Do you see a connection between the resolve you showed in that game and what you ended up doing?
It's a good window into the soul of our locker room, to be honest with you. You're talking about 2019 at Miami. Yeah, it was guys kept fighting, and whatever that week 16, we were 2 and whatever, and guys never gave up. And so to be down 35-12 and never give up speaks a lot about just the character that was forming in this locker room or had been in this locker room. And I think there's something to that for sure.
Just a follow-up on my question about the pre-draft evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if you addressed these.
You can tell where your story's headed. Go ahead. Yeah.
When you look back on it now with the success Herbert's had, Tua's having now, and Burrow, and your background as a quarterback, was that pre-draft process evaluation for you just extra fun? Because, I mean, it's not that often that you get that many good quarterbacks coming out in 1 year.
Yes. You're watching tape, and you get to watch the quarterback. And that's what I did for really the first however many years of my coaching career, because I was just watching quarterbacks. So it's kind of back to the really fun part for me, which is the position I grew up coaching, and so I get to watch. So that's, of course, that's always going to be my favorite position to scout, however you want to phrase that. To get to watch a lot of good quarterback tape and fun offenses to watch. So not only were you evaluating those quarterbacks you're mentioning, but you're also getting to see some scheme that you're kind of filing away. You're getting to see some receivers that are going to be on your radar at some point. We never thought we'd have a shot at Jamar Chase, but I remember saying, who in the heck is this guy that he's throwing to? That was a fun process to be able to evaluate all those guys and to see the different things that they brought in to their different teams.
You talked a lot about
the Dolphins defensive coordinator was retained, and there are quite a few players that have been there for a little bit with them, continuity-wise. Their defense, are they a defense that this is what we're running, and you're going to have to adjust to us? Are they a defense that morphs to what you do, and game plans on week to week, and tear out one game plan and go to another? What type of defense are they?
Yeah, the latter. It's you see different things based on the opponents they've played. And that's the challenging part is you've played really three different. You've played New England. That's a balanced team, and then you got the Ravens that present a ton of challenges for everybody that plays the Ravens offense with Lamar and all those guys, and then you got Buffalo, that threw the ball however many times, and he's back there slinging it, and they got tremendous weapons, and so you can kind of make an argument that three different styles of offenses you faced, and so then you got to look at the defense and say how much 3 games in the season is game planning, how much is what they do, core to what they do week to week. So the head coach last year was obviously heavily involved in it. So now this guy's, on his own with his staff, and so what remnants are there? So I think they do a really good job. They're really good communicators. Like you said, they got a lot of guys back that have played in that system before. That allows them to be pretty flexible and adjust on the move during a play, pre-snap. So you see some real value there in having the players that have returned for them, and they do a good job communicating, doing a good job being aggressive, and giving you a lot of different looks.
With your defense, we've talked a lot about continuity from year to year and picking up where you left off, but through 3 games, what do you feel like you've learned about your 2022 defense?
Man, wouldn't want to face them. They don't give up 7 easy. I can tell you that much. And they've risen up. We put them in some tough spots offensively. With deficits and field position, and they just rise up and do it again and do it again. And we want to take that pressure off them certainly and score 50 points in the game. And but they've just done an outstanding job. The character of that unit's just second to none, really. And they take that as a challenge. With a short field, not giving up more points than are already available. And I think that they've just done a tremendous job through 3 games.
I know, people are going to say there's no disrespect to the first 3 teams you played, but this has certainly been a more productive offense. You're about to face Thursday, your first kind of starting quarterback. What are you interested in seeing how the defense that you feel has looked really good against those teams looks like on Thursday, or do you feel like you already know the answer to that?
I feel like I know the answer to that. I am excited to see every test that they're presented with. It's always a different style that they're playing, how they respond to that. But again, I think I already know the answers to the tests on how they're going to respond. It's you can give up a big play. It happens. I think that the way they respond to that is significant. You know, they don't let one play carry over to the next. That's the biggest thing about this group, because of the veteranness of this group, the chemistry, the time together, however you want to phrase it. They do a really good job of putting it behind them, and even the experience Lou has with this group specifically. You know, Lou, 4 years here. This group has been playing here for a long time. This whole coaching staff on defense, really, with the exception of Chuck, was here last year. And so the chemistry is just the adjustments. Hey, we got to get that fixed. Hey, Chuck, make sure we get that fixed next play. Betch, make sure we get that fixed next play. Hobby, whoever it is, you know, those guys are on top of it real quick. They already know what happened. Let's get that fixed, and you can see the players already making the adjustment for the next play. So I think that's part of what's really impressive, and good job with the communication with the staff and then with the players as well.
I wouldn't call it a relief, but was it particularly exciting to see the pressure your defensive line got yesterday, because that had been one thing that we probably were looking for maybe a little bit more of, and to be so disruptive yesterday. Was that kind of a really encouraging element yesterday?
Well, it is, and again, it goes back to playing complementary football as a team. If we can get a lead and we can be up 20 to 6, you know, and then the other team has to throw the ball more. And now you get a chance to get more opportunities to go pressure, you know, because you're eliminating the play actions and the nakeds, and they're a little less aggressive on the runs, and so now they got to drop back and pass. And now you got a chance to get more pressure. And we've seen this story, you know, unfold before. So that's just the way it goes, and it was nice to put them in that position for the first time this season.
What do you think of the white helmets?
Love them.
Kids love them too?
The kids love them, yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what we wear, to be honest with you. But I love everything about it. I think there's great energy. My kids love it. Players love it. Everyone else seems to love it. I'm on board. I love it. I have a hard time telling you what we wore the week before. Even though I've just watched the tape 1,000 times, if you asked me what we wore yesterday, I would have a hard time pinning that down for you. But that's just me. I can't even tell you what I'm wearing right now. So,
Is there coach issued gear for Thursday then, or you guys like have some all white thing you're supposed to be in?
you know what? I show up to the game and there's stuff in my locker and I put it on. And that's, if it's all white, then I'll wear it. If it's all black like it normally is, I'll wear that too. So I'm not too picky with what I put on.
Employees dress you. You're dressed by them. You don't pick what the coaches wear.
Adam Nolman tells me what to wear and I wear it. And I think he'd tell you I don't complain very often. So.